Hello, this is Mary Amber again, and I kind of wanted to make this video, the second video on bare bottom spanking for children, and basically I wanted to kind of touch up on some things that I mentioned in the other video, kind of elaborate on more. I don't feel like I really elaborated on it that much, and make some corrections and clarifications. What I want to point out in this video is that if an adult were to take a child, take off, to pretty much have them be nude or semi-nude, and you know, undress this person or take their pants off and fondle their buttocks, this would be considered molestation. Yet when a parent does this very same act and hits the buttocks, it is considered discipline. And discipline is one of those words that pretty makes it a get out of jail free safety card for people who like to spank. Or even the term spanking. You're hitting your child. That's what you're doing. And it's a cute, fun little euphemism, you know. Let's hide behind cute little words that they don't sound so bad, but they're just as bad. Spanking is hitting. So you're hitting your child's buttocks, your naked buttocks. Again, I'm going to mention that the buttocks are when you hit your person's buttocks, it sends blood to the genitals. I've already covered this, and you know it is molestation. That's what it is. I remember growing up, you know, my generation, elementary school, learning your private parts. Don't touch, you know, people can't touch your private parts. And I remember thinking, when they covered the buttocks, I was thinking, wow, that sounds like everything that my mom does, you know. And I remember just feeling violated when my mom had me strip, from your waist, my waist below, but I remember just stopping and being so shocked. I know I just didn't want to do it, you know. I just felt like, you know, I cried. Well, I'd cry beforehand because I knew it was coming, but it's scarring. It's scarring. It's humiliating. You're humiliating your child. You're scarring your child for life is what you're doing. And either you get off on it, because some parents do, some parents get off on it, and maybe you don't. And some parents, you know, have other reasons for it, and they don't find it sexual. But you know what? It doesn't really matter what the parent feels in the situation. It's about how the child feels about having this happen, you know? I mean, the child feels violated. You know, just because the adult doesn't feel violated, or, of course, because they're not being violated, but it doesn't feel like they're violating someone, doesn't mean that the child doesn't feel like it. You know what's going to happen? Your child's going to grow up, and this is going to affect your relationship with that your son or daughter for the rest of your life. It really is. You can't undo this. This is something you can't undo. You can't undo these things. You can say sorry all you want, but I'm just begging you, just please do not do this. I mean, if you read it in a book like James Dobson or some other Christian person or some other person claiming that this is the greatest punishment ever, don't do it. These ritualized spankings of waiting and telling your child that they can't have an emotion afterwards, and all this stuff, you know, to hold their emotions in and not show that they're upset after getting beaten. You know, it's scarring, it's abuse, it's ritualistic. You know, I know they make it sound really, they sugarcoat it and they fluff it up a lot, but that's what it is, you know. And your child's not going to tell you this because they don't want to get a beating. You know, they're not going to tell you their true feelings. Your child, you're never going to know your child. You're never going to know your child. You're never going to know the feelings that they have about this. Until maybe they grow up later and tell you. But you can't, like I said, you can't undo these. I also wanted to clarify in my other video, I didn't really specify, well, it kind of went into the fact that it doesn't matter if a male is hit, like the same person of a certain sex is hit by this person of the same sex. It doesn't really matter. They could still feel violated. I felt violated with my mom doing it. You know, a boy would feel violated with his dad or his mom, you know. not only that, but it's molestation regardless. Female can molest a girl, man can molest a boy, and also too the child's sexuality. We don't know. Sexuality develops young. This child could be homosexual or have bisexual tendencies. We don't know. So we tend to have heterosexual norms. We tend to think about that. And when I made the last video, I thought, well, maybe I don't want to come across that way, because I know there's a whole wide spectrum, and I know that, and I happen to know that children, are sexual when they're young, and they carry this on with them to the rest of their lives. So I'm not gonna, I'm gonna be realistic about it. People might not want to hear this, but that's the truth. That's the reality of this situation. My mom and my relationship, it's been affected for the rest of our life, because there is more about my mom. That could go on and on and on. But this was one of the weirdest things that I went through in my childhood. And it's funny because parents don't think you remember this stuff. I don't know how I could forget. How does someone forget something like that? I don't know. I don't care if I was like, really young. You don't forget things like this. It's things that stay with you. These memories stay with you. And I don't know. I don't know how our country can honestly permit this and let this go. A country that's so worried about having our youth subjected to pornography online, and sexuality of any sort is taboo, but yet we do this to our own children. We daily subject them to this. A lot of families, sometimes it's daily, weekly, it's very common. And and I've read stories. Nospank.net. Please visit it. Please visit it. If you're wondering how, if you're going to be a parent and you're deciding, you think you might want to try it, go to nospank.net. Read the stories. Oh, there's some horrible stories on there. I read one where it was, this was back, quite a few years back, but she was talking about how she had this happen to her. This kind of beatings happened to her when she was 18. And I'm not saying age has anything to do, because you can be young, like I said, and it can still affect you. And don't do it. You are legally molesting your child when you do it. And like I said, you can't get back those years. You can't take it back once it's been done. It's impossible. I'm just begging you, if you're a parent that really actually cares, really actually care about your child, don't do it. Don't do it because some person wrote it in a book and they say they know it's the miracle of all cure to make you have the happiest family, because it's not. It might appear that way a little bit on the surface because your kid is so scared he's pretending, he or she is pretending, but it's not the sugar-coated happy fun land that they say it is. And if you do it once, you're going to be doing it more than once. It's not just this one-time thing. It never ends up like that. Now I'm going to go into more detail on that actual aspect of this sort of discipline. Discipline. I don't even know why I use that word. It's not discipline, because you can discipline any other way. But yeah, that is the code word that likes to be used. So, I don't know. You have a duty as a parent to protect your child, to keep them safe, to have them grow up healthy. I just want you to really think about this. Really think about what it's doing. And really think about the whole issue, especially the disrobing issue. I want you to think about that and how that isn't sexual. And I really don't think you're going to come up with anything besides if you somehow think that your child at a certain age just has no no concept of sexuality. If that was the case, then we wouldn't worry about them being molested. It wouldn't be an issue. Well, if they're that young and someone touches them, they won't care. It's not. It's not. Don't do this to your child. It's legal sexual abuse and it's wrong. Don't do it. I'll have more on this later.